We've got one more artist support grant recipient presentation for you. And so you've heard from a multitude of disciplines today. And then the last one that we've got coming up is Stuart Owen Dance. And I'm so excited because we've seen the video clips and they're really cool. So why don't you come on up? And we're trying to get your presentation up there. There, it's starting to come up. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Have you guys been sitting in here for a little while today? Yeah. Why don't everybody stand up real quick? Just take a stretch. We're sympathetic to sitting. We're dancers. All right, everybody, raise your arms above your head. Shake your hands out. Shake your head out. Shake your back out. All right, there we go. And wiggle your arms down here. Try to touch your toes if you can. All right, there we go. Now we're up and moving. Feeling awake? All right, that's how we start every day. Maybe a few more things than that.
It goes on for a bit longer than that. But
That's right. Oh, yeah, I love that stretch. Get the palms going if you've been riding today. Love it. All right. Well, that's the end of our presentation. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Gavin Stewart. If you would like to sit back down, you can. If you want to stand for the duration of our presentation, you also can. It'll be pretty long, 20 minutes of standing there, but just kidding. My name is Gavin Stewart. I am a dancer and choreographer, along with my wife,
Vanessa Owen.
We're both dancers and choreographers. We're based in Old Fort, which is in McDowell County. We are the artists in residence at Wortham Center for the Performing Arts in Asheville, and we collaborate under the name Stuart Owen Dance to produce contemporary dance experiences. And we have a little reel on the next slide here, Kelsey, of what that looks like. What are contemporary dance experiences? Thank you. So we are recipients of the Artist Support Grant from 2020 and 2021. And back in 2020, we were looking for ways to creatively and safely put on dance performances for small audiences that had a few number of performers. I think we all know why. We had this idea for a show that integrated dance film into the live performance. And part of that concept was to film our dancers and to use a projector to show those dances. Kind of like what you saw here today. As we began designing the show and trying to assemble the team of performers, there was a fair amount of hesitancy from the performers surrounding live performance because of COVID, and so we shaped our concept to rely on projected media, which of course was the most unfamiliar territory to us. We came to the conclusion that in order to fully research our concept and learn how to most effectively implement our findings, we needed time to get familiar with those unknown elements, right? And that's how to use a projector. So we applied for funds to purchase a high-quality projector and to support a research period to integrate the new instrument into our creative process. A sample of that work we're going to show you next. And Kelsey, can you change the slide? Thank you. All right. Pass it off to Vanessa.
So the project that we worked on was called Dirty Laundry, the film. We made it in collaboration with a writer in Asheville named Gina Cornejo, and it is the biggest project to date that we've used the projector for. Originally, we had a concept in 2020 that had no live performers, and it was just going to be projected media on various props and elements from Gina's writing, and then we would have small pods of audience attending, but that got canceled due to COVID. So we waited for a few months, and then we tried again, and we designed a black box theater show with a small amount of performers and projected media and small audiences. And then that also got canceled. All the while we're calling the council saying, things keep getting canceled, can we still use the funds? Anyway, what we ended up making was a film, Dirty Laundry, the film. And if we could click to the next few slides here, we'll see some examples of how we integrated the projector into the film. Yeah, and we can stop on the next one. Right there, yeah. So the first two pictures you saw had projections onto a bed, a mattress, which we used in the film. And then here you see Gina being projected 3 times while we filmed her from 3 different spots and projected that onto a headboard full of handwritten love notes that are parts of her writing, and then filming that. So I think there were 4 cameras involved in this particular shot. So we had to learn a lot of new things, as most people did during the pandemic, and for the work sample that we'll share here in just a moment, you'll see we were not just the choreographers, but we had to figure out how to produce, direct. We edited the film, Gavin wrote the music. We did perform in it, but what we're sharing today is mostly Gina and another dancer we worked with named Megan. So if we could go ahead and roll that clip.
The color of the paint I chose for those 4 walls was a brilliant tangerine. He had 1 room. I'd begun a deep cleanse, much different from a deep clean. I began to rid everything in sight, everything that was rightfully his, and odds and ends that when I touched these items, looked at these items, smelled these items, there was a whisper of a reminder of him. So I banished it to the 1 room. His room. We scoured, meticulously, cold, teetering on unfeeling and medical. I banished item after item, darting devious eyes within all cupboard crevices. Christmas ornaments stored and separated into 6 plastic bins. Cloth, leather, fleece, plaid clothing draped on hangers. Art and posters hung on nails. Tchotchke memorabilia perched on tabletops. Mail and personal documents strewn about on countertops. Books and magazines propped up on thick wooden shelves. Lamps, speakers, shampoo. Pictures of us still in frames from our wedding day. Silly magnets bought on our travels to Spain, France, Peru. DVDs and sunglasses, shoes, all his shoes. Golf, sandals, high tops, Pumas. Glassware that was given to us by his Omi. His. Pillows, nail clipper, winter hats, rain jackets, bottles of half-used cologne, motorcycle helmet, toys for our goddaughter, blankets we snuggled under, all of his, strewn about, tossed upon, stacked up high, no inch of floor to be seen in his room. That room. The fog intensifies.
All right, so we couldn't have done that without the support of our artist support grant. We couldn't have taken the time to figure out how to use a projector and hook up cameras to it and put it onto non-traditional screens, which was actually a mattress that I bought in college. And woof. But yeah, we're so grateful for having that opportunity to be able to even apply. Applying for grants is not that easy if you've applied for grants. Anybody here applied for artist support grants or anything like that? Okay, so I might be preaching to the choir here. There's always challenges when you're applying for the grant. And for us, the biggest hurdles, firstly, are finding the time to sit down and write the grant, right? Finding the time and organizing your ideas. But it's so necessary because we always need avenues to continue to support our work. The other thing is deciding on what the most fundable aspect of your project might be. If you have a project like us where we use lots of different artists and lots of different styles of media in order to produce a live experience, it's like, where do we begin? Some of the money could be used toward seemingly countless things, but if we can define our goals and find or fit those goals into a specific budget, and then organize our research and submit it within that deadline, while that is challenging, it's incredibly clarifying. And I think that that's the most important part, is finding those pain points and finding a tangible solution to those pain points. And that's what the grant process writing for us is now. When we applied for the Artist Support Grant in 2020, we were already working on this project. We were already working on brainstorming the project. So the narrative came together pretty quickly, but it was just defining, again, what's the tangible aspect here that we're writing the grant about. We could talk about our time. Well, no. How much time do we spend on this art? You can't count it, really. So we really needed to find one thing in order to write the grant. Another thing that is helpful, and I heard Joe say this earlier, is to use your resources. We were given the same advice at a grant writing seminar in 2019, to ask for help from the folks at your local arts council and use them. They're there to help you. They're there to help you write your grant and look over your grant. And we always ask Susan and Anna from Mako, who I don't see here today, but we rely on them heavily to help us get through grant writing processes. And even after, they're there to help you beyond just applying for the grant too. So really, really use your resources. Yeah.
Yeah. So since we premiered that film, which I forgot to mention is 35 minutes, so you just saw a little snippet of it. That wasn't the whole thing. Since the premiere of that, we had a few other opportunities to share our work in alternative settings, or at least alternative for us as dance artists. So we've been able to share in some gallery spaces in Asheville. And as dance artists, that's really exciting for us because it allows us to share our work in ways that would be pretty difficult for us if we were to put, our choreography live in the space, which usually we would do in a theater. And because our work relies on dancers to be physically present, and we're really committed to paying dance artists for their time both in rehearsal and in performance, that really adds up if we want to make a show. So being able to have our work projected in an alternative space and for it to live there for a little bit longer, say maybe a week in a gallery, it gets our work in public for something that's much more affordable for us, while we still do get to work on our craft and with the artists. So we're just very thankful. We feel like this projector that doesn't seem maybe like a natural fit for dance artists. Like it felt almost random to tell people, oh, we're dance artists, but we're applying for a grant to get a projector. But it's actually been incredibly useful, and we see a lot more flexibility in our future of being able to share our work. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, questions for Gavin and Vanessa?
Nice work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was so unique. Everything about it, I can see where you would say you had a hard time trying to hone in the grant, but I'm just really curious with something like this, as somebody that has gone through the grant process as well. Were you surprised at all the other doors that opened up that you had no idea, or even in your thought process? And if so, which ones do you feel have been the most gratifying or unexpected to you?
Yeah, I can dig it.
Okay, go ahead.
We actually use this projector on a daily basis now. We have a little home studio where we train daily, and instead of gathering at our laptop screen to take dance classes, we can do them online now since the pandemic. That's sort of a silver lining, right? That there's all this content online that we can experience at very little or no cost. And so we're able to take classes at our house and project as if we have somebody there in the space with us, basically life size. The other part is that we teach virtually as well. And so we've had some friends move from some other artists that kind of hire us in for private lessons, dance artists. And so we've had them move since the pandemic, and we're able to stay connected with them, and we use our projector during those private lessons at our home studio. It's a much easier way than trying to look at a screen that might be this big, if it's your phone, or a laptop, to actually see how a dancer is using their body and if they're using it effectively, and it helps us give better feedback to them and still maintain that relationship from a distance. So that's two ways really that we didn't foresee using this, but that we really do use it daily. Thank you.
So since you teach virtually, and obviously this was your own choreography, do we understand that correctly?
Right.
Okay. So have you done other collaborative works, and are you receptive to collaborating going forward on projects that might come to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the short answer is yes. We almost always collaborate, with the exception of we have some work that's just duets, just the two of us, where it's just the two of us collaborating together. But we often will work with a writer or a musician. I don't think we've yet really worked with a visual artist, except for
filmmakers.
Filmmakers, costume designers, and set designers, of course. But yeah, that's something we're very interested in, and a part of that for us is the exciting moment when we reach other types of audiences, because dance is so niche, and dance audiences are very specific. It's people who go to the theater, and we love going to the theater, but we also really like other art spaces, and we want to see more dance in spaces like that. So yes, the answer is yes.
Great.
Okay, well, we're at time. Thank you so much for sharing your project. And